When we talk about modular design, we're talking about the Lego concept applied to production. That is to say, different pieces which we can arrange easily to generate different products. We have seen this in certain aspects of car manufacturing, trucks, of course. That's why when you go into certain cars, for example, of the same manufacturer, obviously, you find that the steering wheel is the same and the controls are the same, which helps us twofold as a client. First, there's the familiarity with those controls, but second, it reduces the costs. Two terms that you will need to know and be very accustomed to hearing: CAD and CAM. That is computer-aided design, where we use the computer to design completely the product. A good example of this is the 777, I believe, which was designed completely in the computer, and then they use CAM, computer assisted manufacturing, to produce all the pieces. They assembled them together the first time for the prototype that flew. That's impressive. And by now they have managed to reduce the time for developing a complete combat aircraft from over 10 to 15 years, as was previously, to under a year using these techniques. Next, we must talk about time-based competition. And what is time-based competition? Essentially, if we can produce faster, if we can turn out a model or a product faster than our competition, we're in a very good position. For example, in cars, 3 to 4 years for Ford, General Motors, etc. Toyota uses less than 2. And those numbers have need to be updated. That's what the book says. But the book is a little bit outdated, perhaps by some 20 years. Right now, cars, they are producing new models sometimes in 6 months. New models. That implies that sometimes in a year they can take out 2 manufacturing lines completely. And that's a lot. Now, why do we need documentation? If we can do things, why document them? Because if you do not document them, you don't have a system. A system exists when another person can come in, check out the documentation, and be able to perform as well as you or better. Second, how do you expect to improve it? If you're creating, let's say, a recipe for a specific plate, and you want to adjust a little bit, you'd better write it down, otherwise you're going to forget it. But also remember always, when you're documenting stuff, you're not documenting what you're doing only. You must know that all definitions that you use must be based on the usefulness of the product. That is one of the reasons why when you create a prototype, one of the most important aspects of the prototype, aside from having the prototype work, is the documentation, because that is what allows whoever follows on your steps to reproduce what you're doing. Some documentation examples are, for example, for the process documentation, flowcharts, procedures manual, responsibilities manual. In the case of the product documentation itself, engineering drawings, mounting plans, mounting diagram, roadmap, work orders, and notifications of engineering changes. As you can see, all of these essentially fall into the category of drawings. So drawing is very, very important for operations management. It's a skill that we need, and it doesn't matter if you don't know how to draw, but you need to have somebody who does it. Our lesson will continue in the next video.